Hi, I'm Jeremy Luna. Here's the claim I want to test with you. When schools shift from factory model to student agency, learning gets stickier, more ethical, and more useful. I'll ground that in history, weighing opposing views, and end with where I land as a teacher. U.S. public schooling scaled during the industrial era, so we organized learning like production sized, standardized time blocks, age batching, seat time, those kind of things. Early reformers pushed access and uniformity, and it works for scale, but it also defines good learning as compliance and coverage. By the early 20th century, John Dewey argued that schools should mirror life problems, projects, reflections, so students experience democracy. Mid-century behaviorism gave us precise objectives and measurable outcomes. Bloom added cognitive rigor, and then we have the standards. The standards movement raised expectations, but often narrowed classrooms into pacing, guides, and test preps, which brings us to today. So today's PBL and competency-based approaches try to synthesize it, maintain like the clarity and rigor, but let students apply knowledge through authentic problems. It's all about giving autonomy and a student-centered approach. Now, philosophically, I'm drawing from pragmatism. Knowledge proves itself in use, learning happens through doing and reflecting. The opposing pole is essentialism, where there's a defined core of knowledge every student must master, best delivered through explicit instruction and culminative practice. So lecture and test and respond. Both aim for both aim for development, but prioritize different means. One prioritizes meaning making and application, the other a durable knowledge and cultural literacy. Now, PBL critics argue that the risk that project-based learning risks superficial projects if knowledge isn't first secured. They worry that group dynamics can mask gaps in learning, and that broad inquiry trades away essential skills and background knowledge, particularly harming students who most need explicit supports. They're right about the risks. I've seen pretty posters with weak thinking, but without clear, and they're right, without clear success criteria, direct teaching, and checks for understanding, PBL can under-deliver. So this is where I land. We start with clarity and knowledge building, then move quickly to application with accountability. In my classroom 3D case methodology, I use direct instruction and bursts of vocabulary and core concepts, retrieval and worked examples before teamwork, roles and rubrics so that each student is assessed individually. And then we conduct frequent checks, exit tickets, mini quizzes to catch gaps. With these guardrails, the gains are real. Students explain ideas in their own words, transfer concepts to new scenarios, and connect learning to service and purpose. That's agency and students who can think, create, and contribute. So why does it matter? Well, schools should form both minds and character. When students solve real problems ethically, collaboratively, and with evidence they practice their responsibilities, we say we value. Knowledge gives them tools, application forms the habits. So here's my takeaway. Keep the strengths of essentialism, clarity, knowledge, explicit teaching, and let pragmatism do its work, application, reflection, authentic problems. That synthesis is how I teach for agency. Thank you for watching.